The house did not feel empty when my mother died. That was the first thing that frightened me. There were no footsteps, no breathing, no movement behind doors. And yet, the silence didn't feel vacant. It felt occupied, like something was waiting for me to notice it. I stayed after the funeral because I couldn't leave yet. Everyone else packed grief into suitcases and drove away. I told myself I needed time to sort paperwork. That was a lie I let myself believe because it sounded reasonable. The truth was simpler. I was afraid that if I left, the house would forget her faster than I was ready to. My mother lived alone for the last 8 years of her life. After my father died, the house shrank around her. Rooms went unused. Lights stayed off. She learned how to exist quietly, like she didn't want to disturb the walls. Growing up, I thought she was strong. Now I understood she was surviving. The answering machine was older than my phone. Older than most of the habits I'd kept into adulthood. I didn't even remember the last time I'd seen it plugged in. It sat near the kitchen window. Yellowed plastic. Dust collected in the grooves like it had been aging patiently. I picked it up to throw it away. That's when I saw the red light. Blinking. Once every 3 seconds. Slow. Intentional. I remember standing there for a long time holding it, telling myself it was a glitch. Old electronics did strange things. Ghost lights. False signals. But something in my chest tightened in a way logic couldn't reach. I plugged it in. The machine hummed, clicked, cleared its throat like it had been holding something in for years. You have one new message. My knees weakened. The voice that followed wasn't the voice my mother had near the end. It wasn't tired or fragile or breathless. It was her old voice, the one I remembered from childhood, from mornings and car rides and evenings when she thought I wasn't listening. You probably won't hear this, she said quietly. There was a pause, filled with breathing and something else. Hesitation. I don't even know if this thing still works anymore. She laughed softly. A nervous laugh. One she used when she didn't want to admit she needed something. That laugh undid me. I slid down against the cabinet and sat on the kitchen floor like a child who had dropped something important and didn't know how to pick it up. I keep waiting for a better time, she said, and I'm starting to think there isn't one. The message went on. She talked about fear, about pretending, about how motherhood didn't arrive with instructions, only expectations. She said she loved me, but not cleanly, not confidently, not without doubt, and that honesty hurt more than comfort ever could. The message ended abruptly. No goodbye, no final words, just silence. The machine clicked. I didn't move. I played it again, and again, and again. The second message didn't announce itself. There was no blinking light this time. I only found it because I didn't unplug the machine. I slept on the couch that night. The house felt too awake for a bed. Every creak sounded like a memory shifting its weight. Sometime before dawn, I woke to the sound of static. Not loud, not alarming, just present. The machine had started playing by itself. I sat up slowly, afraid that if I moved too fast, the sound would disappear and take whatever courage I'd found with it. Her voice came through again, different tone, lower, more careful. I don't know why I'm recording this, she said. I think it's easier to talk when no one can interrupt me. That sentence stayed with me. My mother had always been a listener. She nodded. She smiled. She absorbed. But she rarely finished a thought without softening it first. This time, she didn't soften anything. She spoke about her own mother, about growing up in a house where emotions were treated like inconveniences, where love existed but quietly, like something that might disturb the neighbors if spoken too loudly. I promised myself I would be different, she said. I didn't realize how much silence feels like safety until it's all you know. I had never heard her talk like this. She admitted she didn't know how to teach closeness without control. That when she worried, it came out as rules. When she feared losing me, it came out as distance. I thought if I stayed steady, you'd be safe, she said. I didn't understand that steadiness can feel cold. The machine clicked again. I sat there until morning light filled the kitchen, realizing something unsettling. These messages weren't for me alone. They were for her. She was practicing truth in a room where no one could contradict her version of it. Over the next few days, I stopped cleaning. I started listening. I found tapes everywhere. Inside drawers, behind books, tucked into old purses, each one labeled with dates that didn't line up with major events. Ordinary days, Tuesdays, Sundays, no significance except that she had needed to speak. Some messages were mundane, complaints about weather, notes about groceries. Others were raw enough to make my chest ache. "I don't think he knows how much I see him pulling away," she said in one. "I tell myself to give him space. But space can turn into absence if you don't watch it." In another, she said my name slowly, like she was trying to remember the shape of it. "I wonder if I taught him how to disappear by accident." That one broke me. I paused the tape and pressed my forehead against the counter. I had spent years believing my distance was self-made. Independence, strength, maturity. Now I saw it differently. I had learned silence fluently. One tape ended with her whispering, "If I ever stop talking, I hope someone listens anyway." I realized then that my mother had been grieving long before she got sick, grieving conversations that never happened, versions of herself she never fully became. The answering machine wasn't a confession booth. It was a rehearsal. The day I found the final tape, I almost didn't play it. It was marked only with a question mark. Her voice was shakier in this one. "I'm afraid," she said plainly. Not of dying, of leaving things unfinished. She talked about love as something unfinished people pass to each other, hoping someone else will complete it. "I hope he understands I loved him the best way I knew how," she said. "I hope he forgives me for not knowing better sooner." There was a long silence at the end of the tape. No click, no static, just breathing. And then, nothing. That night, I understood something painful and necessary. Closure isn't something the dead give us. It's something we build from what they leave behind. I stopped playing the tapes after that, not because there were no more left, because I finally understood what they were doing to me. For most of my life, I believed love was quiet, stable, predictable, something that existed best when it didn't ask for attention. That belief shaped every relationship I had. Friends, partners, even myself. I mistook emotional distance for maturity. Listening to my mother's voice dismantled that illusion slowly, gently, and then all at once. I realized she had been trying to speak her whole life. She just didn't know how to do it without apologizing first. The house felt different after that realization, less heavy, less watchful. The silence wasn't empty anymore. It was complete. On my last night there, I unplugged the answering machine, not because I was done with it, because I didn't need it to speak anymore. I sat at the kitchen table with a notebook and wrote a letter back, not to fix the past, not to rewrite anything, just to say what I never practiced saying out loud. I told her I heard her, that I understood, that her fear didn't make her a failure, that her love didn't need to be perfect to be real. When I finished, I folded the paper and placed it inside the machine, where her voice had lived. The next morning, I locked the door for the last time. Some houses don't hold ghosts. They hold echoes. And sometimes, listening long enough is how we learn to speak.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos.